Welcome back to the Fangirl Fantasy Podcast. I am Julie Russell, and today's guest probably has my dream job when I was younger. Allie Booth, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so pumped to be here. I've been looking forward to this since we talked about it. So I'm just happy that we're going to catch up and chat all things fantasy.
I know, and I feel like I've known you for so long, and we literally met in the beginning of the pandemic.
I know, but we're in a time vortex right now. So the beginning of the pandemic has been so long. I feel like we're lifelong friends because just that's how time works right now, I think.
It's been 3 years since this pandemic has started.
Yeah, I would say a decade long, 10 years.
So we met the last weekend of fun. It was the last week in February, and we were both at Playlist Live. I was there working on the social team, and you work for Tigerbeat. You are the editorial director.
Yes.
But you also host an interview and you do everything. So did you just walk into Tigerbeat and you're like, all right, I run this place? Or how did you start?
Oh my gosh, I wish I had the confidence to walk in wherever I wanted and was like, here I am. But no, I have always wanted to kind of work in the entertainment world, and I've been a writer since I was a kid. I remember attempting to write novels when I was in second grade. So I always wanted to do that, and I ended up having this dream of working in the magazine world. I went to school for that. I had a ton of internships, and one of my internships was actually at Tigerbeat. So I was an editorial intern there, and I loved it. And I don't know how this happened. I've even asked them, I'm like, why did you guys do this? But they ended up hiring me right out of my internship to be a writer while I was still in college. So all throughout college, I wrote 10 articles a week for Tigerbeat. And then I was just one of those people. I was at the right place, the right time. The door opened and they basically were like, hey, when you graduate, you're going to come in, you're going to be a junior editor, and we have a position that we're going to make for you. And things just escalated from there to the point where now I am the editorial director and I'm able to kind of do that. Hey, I'm going to do everything and anything that I want to. I mean, doing on-camera hosting and interviews is such a dream. I love doing that. It's kind of abnormal that it's a part of my job description, but because I work in such a small team, I'm able to kind of create those opportunities for myself if I want to, which is kind of what I've done.
That's amazing. How long have you been there for?
Almost 5 years, if you count those 3 months that I was an intern, which I do because I learned so much then.
Absolutely. So how much in those 5 years has Tigerbeat changed? Because I'm sure 5 years ago, you were writing about One Direction, Big Time Rush, and now it's completely changed as what this younger generation that is buying Tigerbeat wants to see.
Yeah, it's changed so much. I mean, I think any organization that was primarily print had to experience this huge adaptation when the digital age came about and adapt to that. But because of our audience, it changes even faster because teens and tweens, everything that they do, their attention spans are so quick. A trend on TikTok lasts literally a day. Sometimes you can see something cool and want to recreate it the next day and it's already uncool by then, right? But no, it's changed so much. You mentioned Big Time Rush and these bands. When I first started at Tigerbeat, the coolest people were Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, all these actors, which they still are so cool. I love all of the people that are on those networks. But now it's this idea of the influencer is so much cooler because it's so much more attainable. Charli D'Amelio is the girl next door, right? She's insanely talented, but theoretically, we could all be Charli D'Amelio. She's just a girl from Connecticut who started posting online, and now she's everything to everybody. So I think that is really attractive to that younger generation now, and obviously to me too. I basically live my life as a 13-year-old girl. So
me and you both. I mean, so we met at Playlist Live, which is an influencer convention. Was that your first one that you've been to?
No, I've been to a couple. That was the first one that I ever So I went there because I was moderating a couple of panels, which was really exciting for me. So I went there specifically for that. But obviously, too, when you're at this mecca of all things influencer, we did a lot of coverage, shot a lot of videos with different talent while we were there. And it was my first time trying to do that. I've covered events before, mostly through a red carpet style press moment. So to kind of wrangle them up backstage was definitely a learning experience, but I'm so happy I did it. And like Playlist was so much fun. I can't wait to hopefully go back one day once we're
able to.
Yeah.
I know. Was there an influencer there that you met that you were super excited to meet that you've covered, you've posted about, and then you finally got to meet them?
Okay, so like not in my personal life at all. I mean, no, wait, sorry, opposite. Not for my work life at all, but like because we don't cover her, like we're much younger. But I stan Tana like no one else. Like I live for all things Tana Mojo. So just like seeing her even from like next to me was such a moment for me. Yeah, no, I love Tana and she was there. So I think that was definitely a huge one for me at Playlist.
I've met her like 2 or 3 times and it's the same thing. She was born to like be in the center of attention no matter where she goes. Just that's like she radiates that energy. It's like I'm in this room and you're going to know I'm in this room and everyone's going to pay attention to me. So that's just the energy she brings.
I genuinely feel like there's not a single other person on this entire planet like Tana. Like she is so unique. I love her. Yeah, I'm such a fan.
Was there anybody, not personal but work-wise, that you've covered, you've done so much, you're like, finally, I get to like meet you and we get to put a face to a name?
I think so because Tigerbeat's based in New York. There are a lot of people actually that are LA based that we don't actually work with, like day to day, face to face. We do so much like online and like interviews like this where we're not sitting next to each other. But that was the first time really that I'd met like that whole kind of like hype house generation, right? And since then I've got to do a lot of really cool stuff with Avani. Like there are a lot of people that our relationship kind of started there and has taken off since then professionally, like with Tigerbeat. And so it's cool to kind of trace it back to that moment. But then there are so many people there too that like I love and have been, like, oh my gosh, like CB30, watching them take the stage for the first time, like those guys are my favorite and I got to see them perform, which I've never had before. Hayden Summerall is like one of my favorite.
You are a Hayden Summerall stan. We'd always talk about that. I love Hayden.
I love the entire Summerall family. Like I have begged his dad to adopt me and it just like hasn't, the paperwork hasn't.
Jimmy said no.
He hasn't said no yet, but no. So yeah, there's so many people there that I just love. I mean, the whole like Rock Your Hair family.
Brooke and Rush.
Rush Holland. Nicole, their mom. So there are so many people there. It's like this fun giant reunion. So yeah, it was fun.
I feel the same way, and it's crazy. 5 years you've been doing it and you've seen them when they were 12, 13, especially the Rock Your Hair team. And now they're full grown adults. They're 18, 17. It's like where just their career, they're continuing with it, their growth. It's incredible to watch and see in this digital space that these kids are making it long term and they're not just gone in an instant.
For sure. And that's actually I always say that's like my favorite part about working at Tigerbeat is like being able to be a part of these kids' journey through their career. Like I would never credit anything that we do at Tigerbeat for like making somebody, right? But I think that like there are a lot of people that like we were their first ever interview, right? Or like Hayden Summerall was on our cover years and years ago. Like that's his first magazine cover. Like that is a special moment in time. There are so many artists, even when you look at like the bigger picture of things, like the Justin Biebers, the Jonas Brothers generation, where like Tigerbeat had that kind of like hold on them where like that was one of their firsts. And so it's cool to be able to be a like moment in history and some of these people that do have such long-term careers and make such an impact on the industry.
Absolutely. And speaking of long-term careers, because I think this girl is going to be forever, is Addison Rae. Yes. And I saw that you sat down and did an interview with her only a few months ago. How did that go? Yeah.
Over like Zoom interviews just because of the pandemic and obviously she's in LA. They're usually to promote certain projects. So like the first time I ever interviewed her one-on-one was because it was Mental Health Awareness Month and she was doing a lot with Ad Council at the time. And I'm sure she, continues on doing things with them. And they were just doing a lot of really important, spreading a lot of important information for young people about checking in on your friends, especially during this pandemic, right? And so I caught up with Addison to talk about that and all things TikTok, of course, as well. We recently talked about her movie Spy Cat, which she has this it's an animated movie, but it was like her first big movie. And now obviously she has He's All That coming and I'm so excited.
I really think her career is just going to continue and we will still be talking about her in 20 years.
I hope. And it's one of those things too, like people always come, like, not that people come to me to get like the inside scoop, but people all the time are like, they're always like, it's so unfair. Like, Addison Rae has an in with everyone in Hollywood. Like, she's friends with the Kardashians. She's friends with the Vlog Squad. She's friends with the Hype House, all these TikTokers. And I'm like, and they almost like are mad about it. They're like, why is she hanging out with Kourtney? And I'm like, you don't get it. This girl is the sweetest, nicest, most fun. She radiates the best energy. So I think that her being friends with literally everybody is just such a reflection of that. And I'm obsessed with her. I think we are going to be talking about her 20 years from now, 50 years.
It's just jealousy. It's just jealousy. Just imagine Kourtney Kardashian like sliding into your DMs because her son has like a crush on you. It's just the dream. That's what we've been watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians forever. And that's just a family you can't touch. And she just infiltrated her way right into it.
No, I totally agree. And I mean, like, Mason, could you have a crush on me? I'd love to make that happen. Like, DM me. But
whatever you need, Mason.
For real. Like, I'm crushable. Let it happen. No, but it is so true. And she's not just like, when you look at Keeping Up with the Kardashian world, like, Addison isn't just like, oh, they mention her, she's in the background of the shots. Like, she's doing confessionals. Like, she has like interview shots on that show, a major network show. It is so incredible to see how social media can really change people's lives over the course of 1 year. I mean, it's insane. Charlie's about to hit 100 million on like these. I'm just so impressed with this kind of like next generation of like creators. It's so cool to see.
Besides Tana, do you have like another creator that you like watch YouTube videos, you follow their TikToks, you think they're just kind of breaking the boundaries because I'm sure you always have to watch for up and coming talent and who you guys are going to feature. Is there somebody right now that you're like, I love what they're doing?
100% Sienna Gomez.
She's dating Jack, right?
Maybe. It's one of those ones, like, I think they are, but they toy with it back and forth, and I'm like, I can't tell. Am I being tricked into thinking that they are dating?
Their videos are so cute and they're natural and it doesn't seem forced, where a lot of them you can like, that's a forced collab. Totally. But they look like they're dating and they just look really sweet, but I love her.
I absolutely love her. I think there's such an important space for people like her that are so unapologetically themselves and just really, really there for their fans. I mean, listen, I was just talking about how crazy it is how your life can change over a span of a year. Sienna, over the course of 1 month, gained millions and millions of followers. She has over 7 million right now. And in August, that's when like her first video kind of took off on that second account that she created. And I think that is such an atonement to like who she is and what she stands for. She makes everybody feel so confident and so loved, including myself. Like I follow so many people from the Tigerbeat account, and that's how I keep up with a lot of these influencers. And there are very few people that I follow from my personal account because I want them to be part of my like own life. And having her on my own feed makes me feel so inspired, and I love seeing what she does. So I think that she is a game changer. I think she's a huge trailblazer, and I'm like so proud to see everything that she's done so far in such a short period of time.
Definitely, absolutely. I feel the same way about her. Do you have anything planned with her for Tigerbeat?
Not
is this
yet.
An exclusive?
Such a dream. I wish I could tease something and be like huge, but no. I mean, I 100% see her being woven into the fabric of the talent that we cover because of how amazing she is. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
I know, that would be so exciting just for you to do.
I know. I mean, that's the thing though, like I get excited about all these interviews. Like there are very, very few where I'm like, oh, I have to interview this person again. Like it's going to take me hours to research and prep, and like then I have to do it, then I have to edit the video, all this stuff. Like I'm such a fangirl at heart that I'm so excited to talk to anybody that I get to talk to.
Which makes you love your job and makes you want to wear multiple hats and do everything.
For sure.
Who has been your favorite interview over the past 5 years?
Oh man,
or a project that you got to like go to the red carpet. What's been your most like, holy crap, can't believe this is my job?
My favorite thing that I've ever gotten to do, Tigerbeat has this awards program called 19 Under 19, and it's actually on hold right now. We're hoping to bring it back super soon, but the third annual 19 Under 19 awards, basically what it is, it's this it basically highlights 19 individuals under the age of 19 that are out there doing something really cool. So that could be anything. They could be entrepreneurs, philanthropists, activists, influencers, artists, actors, whatever it may be. But the last year that we had it, it was just like the most special moment to sit in this room with 19 of the people that I genuinely feel like are changing the world. Like they're out there just doing such amazing things. So to be able to bring those people together in the first place, and then also to be able to highlight them in such like a cool way that I think really just reminds young people that like no matter how old you are, you can make a difference. That was really special to me. But as far as like individual interviews, I'm trying to think. It's so silly. Like the majority of times that I'm like, that was my best interview ever. Other people watch it and they don't really see like why I feel like it went super well or why I didn't. It's more of like an internal thing. I used to always say I don't know, man. I have so much. I love doing bands or casts because they vibe off of one another. The Julie and the Phantoms cast, I just did a Zoom interview that was so good. Like usually Zoom interviews are really awkward, but they were amazing. That's a Netflix show. I love the Vamps. They're always so fun to interview. Why Don't We is like my number one.
Why Don't We is just on top of the world also. And they are so fun. And the fact that do you know Why Don't We story of how they all were influencers too? And then they just it's crazy. I feel like a lot of people don't really know that and they don't want people to know that side of their story. But I forget, Daniel and who else, they were on an influencer tour like the year before I started working on it. And then the next 6 months later, they're touring the world.
Yeah,
it's insane.
That's where their name comes from. It's really cute whenever they talk about that because like there was a 3-day weekend. I forget when it was, but they like all just got together and hang out. And they were like, we're just gonna play video games and chill. And then they were just sitting there and they're like, wait, why don't we make a band? And they did it. And I do think that they are doing it so well. I think it's really easy to get burned out as a boy band, like what they're doing. It's so much energy. And last year they released 12 singles in 12 months. It's insane. So I'm glad they did take the beginning of this year off to recoup because they deserve it. And now I think their music is just like better than ever. They just dropped like their New Era single and like I can't stop listening to it. So
their music is also very mature for their age. They always target a little bit older audience, even though they weren't that audience, which I think is great for a boy band like them.
100%. Sorry, my Zoom just like disappeared. I don't know where it went. No, I totally agree. And I think that they're so passionate about the music. Like they're producing, writing all their own stuff now. They're so talented. They all play instruments, like chef's kiss, man.
So what boy bands did you fangirl over, or musicians, actors, actresses?
Okay, so I used to be so embarrassed to talk about this, like all through high school, college. Like none of my real friends knew this at the time, but now I take so much pride in it because like I just feel like it got me to where I am, and also is like such a funny anecdote. I used to write High School Musical fan fiction online, not creepy fan fiction, asterisk disclaimer, not creepy fan fiction, but like that's how I got my like literal writing start.
Hold on. Who were the stories about?
Okay, this is it. This is the cast right here. I'll give it to you. It was Zach, Vanessa, Miley, Nick, Joe would make some appearances, Demi. It was like that group. And then like all the High School Musical, like people would like make appearances. But I had like such a large following. I'm not going to brag, but like thousands of people, like if my episode was late, people would be like, where's the next episode?
Oh
and, like,
my God.
My parents had no idea. None of my friends had any idea. And like, I remember going to school and pretending High School Musical was lame. Like the second one came out the year that I moved across the country to a new school. And I remember like getting to this new school, nobody knew me. And they were like making fun of High School Musical too. And I was like, yeah, it's so stupid. And like,
and then you're running home and typing like 600 pages.
So that is like genuinely, now I take so much pride in it because I think it's hilarious. And I wish that I had created like full-fledged like stories. Like now they're like there are movies that come out of fan fiction. So I should have made something of that, but I guess it worked out in the end.
Was High School Musical your jam? Like that was High School Musical was kind of the thing that you loved?
I don't know. See, I pretended I didn't like it. That's the thing. And I pretended I didn't like it at school because I thought it was like so cool, but I loved it. Like I remember that summer before the second one came out, People magazine did a special issue all about High School Musical 2. Like it was just about behind the scenes. There was nothing else in the entire magazine. And I searched high and low all throughout the city for this magazine. I could not find it. And I eventually literally, oh my God, I'll never forget. I went to CVS to buy one of those like Visa gift cards so that I could buy the magazine on eBay because I didn't have a credit card or anything.
No way.
Yeah, I bought the People magazine, like High School Musical 2 special edition on eBay. And I didn't have a credit card. I couldn't ask my parents because like I said, like this is like my secret life. So I went to CVS and I bought like one of those credit cards using cash. And then I got it on eBay, which like, looking back, like I don't know why I was so like nervous to tell people that I loved High School Musical, but I did, and I still do. I've met Vanessa, Ashley, like I tell them every time I'm such a fan. And now High School Musical, the series, like holds such a special part in my heart because like it is reigniting my love of High School Musical.
That's amazing. So you kind of just answered my next question then. So you did not have like Tigerbeat posters hanging on your wall, High School Musical of like your favorite bands and crushes.
I totally did. I loved 17 and like Teen Vogue. I loved like their editorial spreads. Like I would always hang those. They weren't necessarily posters, but I would always hang those. I had a huge magazine collage on my wall. Like I've always loved that. And I remember at the back of Tigerbeat, there used to be, it would like list all the addresses that you could send fan mail to, which isn't a thing now.
The P.O. boxes.
But I used to fan mail the Sprouse twins so hard.
I had their posters everywhere. And one day I came home and my brother like whited out on like their teeth or something like that. And you literally would have thought someone stabbed me because I shrieked and screamed and I ran into his room. I was so mad, but I had Dylan and Cole Sprouse everywhere.
Your relationship still hasn't been the same ever since.
No, me and my brother have not recovered from that incident.
We haven't spoken since. That was the last day. So I used to send people fan mail, I remember, from like the back of Tigerbeat, and I genuinely don't think anyone ever replied. So that's sad, but it's okay.
Were you a Dylan or Cole Sprouse? Like which one, Dylan or Cole?
Okay, I was Dylan, but I feel like that's because we were like supposed to be
I agree. They made Cody like from Zach and Cody. They made Cody like the geeky, nerdy one, and you want to like bad boy.
I know they like made us seem like he was like lame and he was like smart, and like now I'm like, okay, I'm a Cody girl, 100%. But it's cool to see them still doing their thing now too. Like speaking of like long-term careers, like the longevity of those guys, they went to NYU, they did their thing, and now they've kind of like reinvented themselves. It's really cool.
I love that they took a break. They were like, we need to go to college. We want to live a normal life. And they got to do that. And now they're both thriving. I really love, and I think it's in their normal. And there's never been any like scandals from them, anything. They've done it the best way possible.
I was talking to Johnny Orlando about this literally on Friday because I think one thing that he's done so well, like he went viral at 8 years old, right, for singing. And now he's turning 18 in like 2 months. And like he has always kept in mind that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Like, yes, you want to take advantage of the opportunities as they present themselves, but you do not need to go hard 24/7. Like he goes to normal school every day. And like he took Friday off because his single dropped or his EP dropped and like he wanted to celebrate it. And like his school gets it, right? But he still can balance these lives. And I think that is so integral. Like Dylan and Cole needed to go to school to like to have their heads right in the right space. And I think that is like entirely important because so many people burn out. Like you see these quote child stars and it's so sad to see them like really resent their childhoods because they weren't able to find that balance.
Absolutely. You've never done anything with Dylan and Cole Sprouse through Tigerbeat? Did you get there like a couple of years too late? Because I feel like they were spread all over it even when we were like in high school, college.
There was a lot of like, so Riverdale was really, really big with Tigerbeat when I was in like my interning year. It had just premiered, but I missed that. No, I've never spoken to Cole or Dylan, but man, one day.
You'll tell them all about your posters.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be like, how come you guys never answered my fan mail? Like, I'm still waiting.
I sent you a letter every day for a year.
Every day.
I actually just remembered the reason we even started talking at Playlist is I was with my friend Heather, and we were watching a performance. I want to say Danielle Cohn or something, but we were watching a performance, and I like was talking to Heather, and we were staying there. And I'm like, oh my God, she looks like familiar. I was like, do we know her? And she was like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, is she a Jonas Brothers fan? And she's like, no, she definitely is. I'm like, well, I'm just going to ask her because she's our age and she just looks familiar. And so I was like, hi, this is random. Are you a Jonas Brothers fan? You go, yeah, I am.
Wait, I remember that moment so clearly. And it's so fun that like that's how we met. I am a huge Jonas Brothers fan. But I'm not enough embedded in the fandom where you would recognize me from that, which I wish you would, but like, no, I
think you just have a recognizable face or something. I don't know how else. Maybe I was watching a Tigerbeat video and that's how because that also could 110% be the reason I recognized you. And I was like, I'm just going to ask her. And then here we are.
No, but imagine how awkward that would have been if I was like, no, I am not a Jonas Brothers fan. Like, it worked out so well because, of course, I'm a Jonas Brothers fan. Like, the Happiness Begins tour was, like, still the best day of my past, like, 5 years of life. So
it brought every ounce of happiness into my life. What show did you go to?
I went to MSG, Madison Square Garden, and that was the only show I went to, which in hindsight was such a mistake. Like, I should have followed them around the country and gone to them all.
Did you go to the first night or the second night?
The first night.
I was there the second night. That's like, oh my God, were we in the same room at the same time?
Same time. That would have been fun. No, but I missed the first generation. Not that I missed it, but I wasn't like a diehard Jonas Brothers fan as a kid. Where like there are so many people that like they have those meet and greet pictures from when you were 12. Like I wasn't on that train. I liked their music. I know all their songs from back then, but I never went to a concert. So this was my first ever Jonas Brothers concert, and I'm so happy that like at least I'm here now. You know, like I found myself in the fandom.
That's amazing. Everyone's welcomed.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. But I always use that as like a disclaimer. I'm like, I'm not claiming to be like an original fan, like an OG. Like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I'm here now. So
because you know that if you did say that and you said it to the wrong person, they'd come for your throat.
No, they would, and they have.
Oh, so it has happened to you before?
No, it's definitely happened with like other fandoms, but no, the Jonas Brothers fans, they have welcomed me with open arms, and like I said, I'm happy to be here.
It's amazing. Who inspired you to get into like entertainment and music and writing? Was there a certain artist or musician or anything like that?
I'm trying to think. I mean, like I said, I've always loved writing, and I've always been a fangirl. Like oh my God, like led the. You might remember this. Do you remember when One Direction was on X Factor, right? And then they had this like contest because they were coming to America, but they were only going to play one show. And there was this huge contest. I like led the Tumblr drive to get them to come to Texas. And Texas ended up winning. It was this huge thing. But like, I have always been passionate about like fangirl, like lifestyle. Like that's just who I am. So I think it just made sense. I love kind of like the guilty pleasure side of journalism. Like I'm not a hard-hitting news person whatsoever. I love to write, and I think it just made sense for me. But looking at like who inspired me, like I really loved growing up, like watching E! News. I think all those people that were doing the live, like on-site coverage of events. I mean, even just like the Juliana Rancics, like the Ryan Seacrest, like I loved watching them do their thing. And now, oh my God, I love like Tanya Rad, Erin Lim, like those women absolutely. But I don't think there was like a band or an artist that really inspired me to enter the space.
That's great though, that you just kind of knew what you wanted to do and just went for it. For me, because my whole getting into radio and entertainment was the Jonas Brothers. Just like going to their shows and then going to smaller shows and seeing someone check you in for VIP and doing this. I'm like, how do I get to do that?
Yeah.
And how do I get to be the person that like surprises someone with a meet and greet and this and that? So that's like what, just going to concerts and stuff like that and going to the opening acts of whoever, like Honor Society, and then going to the opening act of Honor Society and things like that. And going to these smaller shows is definitely what, for me, I was just like, how do I do this? How do I get to be a part of it? So it's really cool that you just kind of knew.
Yeah, I think it just all kind of fell into place. Like, and when I was applying for my internships, they all just kind of led up to Tigerbeat. Like, I was at Us Weekly, I was at Oprah, like I was at these places. And then, like I said, I was just in the right place at the right time. Like, if I hadn't been offered that job right out of Tigerbeat, right out of college, I don't know where I would be right now, but it made sense for me. I think that the, like, voice of Tigerbeat matches my own so well. Like, it's so high energy. It's so like, I don't know. So I think it made sense. I don't know if it's an everything happens for a reason thing, but it happened. And
I agree 100% though. It is your voice.
yeah,
It is the upbeat, exciting, just everything's so happy and go lucky. Like that's definitely you. And that's the voice of Tigerbeat.
man, it's like tough when really tough for me to write about serious things. Like, there are things that we cover because we really want to kind of create this, like, you know, strong community of role models and really enforce that, like, social justice and, you know, initiatives and things like that. But it is so hard for me to write about things that aren't like, OMG, why don't we just drop their new song? Because that's what I know and what I used to. It's definitely a challenge. So I definitely gravitate more towards kind of like the fun loving side of it. But I do still love how important it is, obviously, to spread those important messages.
Of course, especially with a younger audience, that you do have to let them know what's going on.
For sure.
Is there anything exciting coming up with Tigerbeat? Like changes, anything new covers?
There are so many changes because we recently were acquired by a new company. So, like, everything is brand new for us right now. And, like, especially with the pandemic, like, we almost are starting from ground one because you have to refigure out how to do everything that we did before. Like, nothing is the same. So no, I think 2021 is going to be Tigerbeat's year. There aren't too many things that I can be like, oh, I hate when I interview people and I'm like, do you have an album coming? And they're like, maybe. And they tease it without actually saying anything, but I'm going to do the exact same thing here. There's not really anything that I can say for sure, like solidified is coming, but I really do think there's so much potential with the brand. I mean, it's been around since the 60s. It's so iconic to such like an older generation. And I really want that to be the same for like our current Gen Z audience. So there are a lot of really fun things coming up, but the world is Tigerbeat's oyster right now, I guess. Like, the possibilities are endless.
And you're the one in charge, so
we'll see.
Your possibilities are endless. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, and we will talk soon. Thank you, everyone, listening for the third episode of the Fangirl Fantasy Podcast. Please subscribe, and you can also watch us on YouTube as well. And we also have the Fangirl merch available in the description below. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.